What up, everybody? Happy Sunday. Had to do some maneuvering inside my little area here. I got a new bed frame and stuff behind me, so I'm all scrunched in here. But I'll be all right. I'm sitting in front of the computer, well, somewhat the way I'm supposed to be, but I don't have it set up the way I'd like it. It always makes it difficult for the person that disseminates information in front of you, and tries to get everybody uh, a straight, articulable uh, video that is clearly. I mean, I have seen so many different videos on this specific behavior, and it hits home when I see this one happen to this particular individual. This particular individual, it just reminds me of what they did to freaking media. And every time I see it, and it's clear in my mind all the time because Steve and I are talking about it all the time. Well, a lot here lately. And what I've seen is, I wear this badge, and I am in such a position to where I'm allowed to decide whether or not that I'm going to inflict violence upon you. Well, you're going to listen to me. Wait a minute. You think you're not going to listen to me? You think you're not? Wait a minute. Hold up. You think you're going to come up into my building on my shift and tell me what to do? Got it all wrong, human being. You human beings got that all wrong. You serve me. I don't serve you. You have the privilege to be where you're at, to have a job that pays you way overpays you for one thing. And then, there used to be standards to that job where you, as the person you are now, 40 years ago, you couldn't even step in there as an employee looking the way you do. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm looking on my other screen over here. I just want to say, what's up, Adam? Hello, Michelle. What's up, Scrubzilla? Good to see you up in here. Javol Evil, what's up? I'm not even going to talk about it. It's all good. You know, when people get angry, they say things, and you know what? I'm a human being too, and I get mad and I say things, but I'll be damned if I'm going to allow somebody, and this is the more likely thing. I'll be damned if I'm going to allow somebody just because I don't like them. I'm going to come out of my pocket and give you $2,000 to take somebody's wrench away for out of your chat. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. These tyrants. These tyrants are doing the same thing. They think they have ownership of this shit. They think they have ownership. Like, you're going to stop me. So what? Millions of people join YouTube every day. You can't have them all. And there's plenty of room out here for people that coexist. So let him be who he is. All I know is he keeps running himself into a corner. He's going to find himself in the end at the back of the bus because of his lies, deceit, and deception. And it's just not worth it. It's the same thing with this punk that I got on here right now. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to bring this up real quick. let me just bring this up. This is Chad, and whatever, I forget the name of his channel, but I'll always I'll give him the credit that he deserves. Everybody will know who he is. I forget his name. I'm not good with names. I hardly ever watch these guys because I watch so many different channels. But it just reminds me of the same bullshit that everybody goes through. I mean, all we want to do is get into our buildings. You are not a god. That is not a throne. And you sure as hell don't run it. You are a person that takes orders. We are a people that give them. We are the people. You are the tool. You are belong in the tool belt. That's what you guys are. If I have to train thousands of people a day, that police officers are tools. You have to look at them as a tool. A flashlight is a flashlight. It is a tool to see. A gun is a gun. It's a tool. Handcuffs are tools. That belt, the shoes, everything they wear, they're all tools. They're just one tool that does what they're that has many tools that does what they're told. Okay. Let's see. We need to have an auditor in every county in the U.S. Oh no, not every county, in every city. Every city that has over 2,000 people should have an auditor, and the one next door to that person to that it should be watching the one that don't. You know what I mean? You should be keeping an eye on the one that don't because 2,000 people ain't a lot of people. But I'll be damned if you can't have tyranny. Them in them small hick towns, they have a lot of tyranny in it because they're stealing. Tyranny behind it all is theftery. And because they protect that, they don't want the more cameras you allow in, the more that you can see. The more that you can see, the more you'll be like, wait a minute, why are there look at all these people lined up paying taxes? Do who said by what authority when I come out of my mother's womb inside the United States that I say that I had to pay taxes or that I agreed to pay taxes or did I agree to be in your system? You gave me a number without my permission. My mother don't know no better. She's a separate individual. All I know is she just got done shitting me out. And what do you expect my mother to do? This is a system that we were all born into. We don't know nothing about it, but we do know enough to say it's bullcrap. I'm ready to rock some trolls. It's time they found out they can't hide behind the keyboard forever. Yeah, you know what? You could do that. You could do that. But a Scrubzilla, you know what? I don't care. You do what you want. But here's what it comes down to. When you take a side, and I want to remind everybody before I get into the story, when you take the side of the person that is more likable to you or the person that you're more favoritive of because they got more of this. You see, asshole didn't act the way he did until he came about right par to me, right about when he got to about 8,000 subscribers. And he started getting an attitude because you go back and watch all his shit, you'll see it. He'll take all that down so you can't. But I got the clips every time he said he loved me, every time he said he appreciates me, every time he showed me and reflected upon the true things about my attributes. I have it all. And then you got all his people in his chat. See, he controls his chat. So if he says night is day and day is night, obviously they're going to go with him for some reason. They don't have a judge of character. They've lost their judge of character because he said that he accused me of starting fights inside there. He accused me of trolling him. And he doesn't have any fucking proof of that. He doesn't have any clips of that. He doesn't have anybody. If he did, now it's fabricated. Because at the time he said it, it was a whole month that went by where my wrench was gone and I was disappeared inside there. And yet he's telling me on my fucking phone that he loves me and that, you know, everything's good. And he didn't tell me until I said, listen, you know what? When you're done with all this bullshit, I got a bone to pick with you because I'm sick of this shit. And I'm calling you out and I'm calling your bluff. And that's exactly what I said to him. That's why freaking media seen all that shit. And he's got my back on it. That's why the Michigan boys are standing behind me on this shit. Because fucking Brooklyn is a fucking liar. He's a fucking liar. And all liars will have their partner like a fire. Yeah, I will. I'm a psycho. We are obviously at war time. To stop pretending we are not. Sorry to break it to y'all, but Cumbaya ain't fucking working anymore. Yeah, I got you. I got you. He said, fuck mods. The troll's going to tell you. Even the troll says he loves Wolvie. But anyway, that's not the point. The point here is that you found, see, the people that are complaining out here, they say frauditor, they say, they're liars. Well, once they got into Wolvie and kind of looked at him and says, you know what? I, you know what? I didn't know all this about this guy. I didn't know he went through all that. Wait a minute. He people say he's playing the victim, but the motherfucker is the victim. I'm a victim of fucking of an acme falling out of the air and destroying my life, man. But I'm just trying to rise above it. You know what I mean? That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to rise above it. I found something to do, and articulating bad behavior and disseminating it to the people that I know that maybe might do something about it. Maybe wants to make some change, and together we can make that change. But you know what? We found that these people are just like the people we're calling out. Where do you draw the line? You're just not going to. So I'm going to play this video and hope people understand that this is the behavior you and I need to be working together on. This is what we need to be working together on. Not disrespecting one another because we found out that my best friend's cousin don't like me now. He's a supporter and he's got more money than me, so I guess I'm going to take his money and get rid of Wolverine because Wolverine's expendable. You know what? Right there. Wait until you stand in front of your Lord and Savior with that crap.
The law in here. Yeah, I appreciate you. All right. So turned off while in the courtroom. If not, you may be.
So let's go back to the beginning of this.
Nah, man, I'm good. Don't worry. Leave. Whoa, don't touch me, buddy. What do you think you're going to do?
I'm going to get your ass out of here. That's what I'm going to do.
Wow. So listen to that, guys. This guy immediately says, I'm going to get your ass out of here because I'm the law up in here. Okay? Where in your code of conduct does it tell you that you can cuss, Mr. Police Officer or Mr. Sheriff? You know damn well it don't. And where does it tell you that you could just put your hands? See, there is a time where they teach you where it's an exempt policy that for some reason you can't find it. So I'm going to call it, for the sake of, for argument's sake, I'm going to call it an exempt policy. Where is that policy where you go hands-on with people not being violent? Obviously, there was no violence from the so-called perpetrator, right? All that person did was walk in with a freaking camera, and you treated it like it was a 45 Magnum. Wow.
Do you always let your employees batter people when they want
I
to?
tell you to leave, then you leave.
The law.
I am the law in here.
Yeah, I appreciate you. All right. So it's turned off while in the courtroom. If not, you may be held in contempt and your device taken.
See that? Camera is turned off while in the courtroom. So there was already directives that gave him the permissives that he needed to record inside that building. You know what I mean? It's just that simple. Hey, let's see. We need more than just an auditor in each state. We need departments of them just above every country, county of every state with the amount of corrupt tyrants in power. See, Victor, this is what I've realized about creating big departments and like create a new branch of government. You know, the watchers watching the watchers watching the watchers. And this is how I kind of fell out with Chile a long time ago, because he brought up the idea of 3 buildings, and he put these 3 white guys behind it and made it put it in the systemic thing, and was trying to, push that more hatred on us to get us to say, okay, I want to approve this, to give another batch of people more authority. What happens when we do that? All they do is get corrupted. We have to have people that are volunteers. We have to have people like us that ain't getting paid. We have to. It's gotta, like in the beginning. You know what a person that worked for Washington got very little money, and it was a duty and an honor to go to Washington D.C. and fulfill that space, and to stand and talk with taxation, with representation for the taxation for the people in their sector. They knew what it was like. They were humbled, and they got paid very, very, very little for it. And sometimes they didn't have the carriages that they had at the time. They had to pay for that, and they couldn't even write that off. They had to pay for that, because that was something that is a responsibility that they took on as a United States senator or a United States congresswoman, men or woman. Okay, then it was men, and it's still recognized as them, because it still says the gentleman. It's when it talks about the woman, it still says the gentleman is recognized because of the quorum. Okay, and if we get to changing that shit, then everything changes. I don't agree with it, but at the same time, I don't want to change no more, because the narrative is greater than the subject. So we need to leave that crap alone and stop taking things that off the books that apply, that makes us a legitimate quorum that passes things, and then they move like turtles to begin with, and we can't get nothing done. This is done by people like me and you that are not getting a dime for this. I'm not getting paid by this. I'm telling you this right now, I'm not getting paid. Especially by viewership. I made $100 last week. That's what they paid me. I could show you 10 receipts where I've spent over $800 just gallivanting around watching cops. Ain't no way my subscribers is going to pay me that back. I'm not getting that money back. And that's the minimum. Wait till I get going in the summer. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead with this.
How's it going, man? What? In here? Yeah, I'm filming it. No, I can, brother. Yep, no, I can. I don't know. You want to find out? You going to walk around and find out? Hang on.
We're just trying to get
All right.
take care of here.
All right.
We're not arguing with you.
It sounds like you're trying to tell me what I can and can't do, man. It's supposed to be America.
He's done. He's done that.
Nah, man, I'm good. Don't worry.
Leave.
Whoa, don't touch me, buddy. What do you think you're going to do?
I'm gonna get your ass out of here. That's what I'm gonna do.
What's your name and badge number?
I don't have a badge number.
What's your name?
You know why you don't have a badge number? That's just that much. That's that much less of authority that man has, in my opinion.
You're not filming.
You ready for a battery
Let's
charge?
go. Let's go.
Where does the law say that? What law is that?
Wait a minute, is this a courthouse? Yeah.
So are you the supervisor?
No, this is the court. This is where the judges of the courthouse.
What's your name?
Officer Borf, you can leave.
Officer.
Did he just say officer? Oh, no. Hold on. Let me make sure he just didn't say
For the judges of the courthouse.
What's your name?
Officer Borf, you can leave.
Officer what?
Borf, you can leave.
Boruf. Boruff.
I was about to say, man, that sounded awful close, Scrub Hillzilla. I know why he's acting.
That's right.
Okay, if I'm free to leave, I'm free to stay, buddy.
No, you're not.
Which has the
When I'm telling you to leave, you need
Okay,
to
so
So
hey,
we can't do in the public areas.
Correct.
where the law ends, there tyranny begins. What law is it that says I can't record here? I'm going to need you to tell me the
I'm
name.
not going to talk to you, okay?
Right, so what law is it? Okay, so if not, then I'm going to get in there. So take my stuff, run it through the scanner. I'm going to walk through that scanner, and I'm going to do everything that I want to as long as it complies with the law in the public areas. So you guys can take your little attitude and your ego and get the hell out of here and get back in your office. You understand me? Yeah, he is. He just came down here and battered me. Do you understand that? Who are you? Are you in charge? I need a supervisor. Get a supervisor here. All right, so do you always let your employees batter people when they
When
want
I
to?
tell you to leave, then you leave.
No, you're
That's not how that works. You got to have a reason. The word reason is there for the reason of explaining what it is that you got your panties in a bunch for to try to get this guy out of the building. You seen his camera, you didn't like it, you're prejudiced. Hey guys, you know what? I'm going to start. Look, how many, and including my mods, and Scrub Godzilla, I know you are in a lot of, you mod for a lot of different people. So does my main mod, Jonathan, and the rest of the mods that they go and they mod for other people. How many do you see say, we don't talk politics, we don't talk about religion, we don't talk about certain things in here, okay? We're not political. Tell me that the people in these bias-ass chats are not political. They're political as fuck. You know they're political, Scrubzilla. That is a liberal-ass talking point when they start to using cancel culture tactics and creating circumstances and gaslighting that never happened to get people to believe something bad about somebody they don't like. That, and it's playground bully shit. But we now can identify these things and we can rectify these things, and I'm calling it out. I don't believe in the A1 community no more. I don't. I believe in individual people that love the Constitution, that has channels, so they're individuals that independently come out here and put their ass on the line to observe their constitutional rights. Okay? So it should be the individual constitutional people that we should be talking about. Because every time we come back to a community, we're forgetting that a community has expectations, has a quorum, which a quorum has what? Rules. And rules have what? Come on, come on. We all know this, and they're not being applied in this fake ass community. That is a fake community. So we have to call it something else in Wolvie's chat, because Wolvie has been discriminated against by the very people that are supposed to be upholding my rights, that the very people that say that they love this community. You guys have desecrated it, and you've allowed cancel culture to be your speaker, and because you've allowed that, you told on yourself, and now there is politics involved. So now we know the left-wing stream in media is in our chats. So those of you in your thing, I am going to have at least 5 or 6 big channels that's going to bring this out, because they don't give a fuck. They're going to tell the truth. And I'm sure the troll channel, the anti-frauditors, they'll want to talk about this, and they should. They should, because now I'm starting to see that double standard. I'm going to call it out. I hear people saying, "Well, hey, how do I know I'm not auditing with a fucking a child molester?" Because you know how these child molesters come out here, guys. Jonathan, you've seen it, how many times I've called motherfuckers out in the past couple years. I ain't going there because it's attached to a lot of shit. But I'm going to tell you, I've called them out. And I've kicked them out of my community, and I'll be damned if I'll ever give them a platform. Anybody that enables them, you are just as bad, if not worse, than the Chomo himself if you give them a platform, because you're not doing your due diligence. I run everybody. I run them. Everybody around me. But your ass, I ran your name. I even found one that was questionable. And because I didn't know him, I stayed away from him. He's a good guy, too. And I'm not saying who. I'm just giving you the example. I've talked to him about it. He got it off his chest. I got it off mine. He explained it. And he's going to take care of stuff. But in the meantime, back at the ranch, who do you people think you are to sit here and fool the channel owners and manipulate them and make them believe something that's not true? And I am telling you, I believe with all my heart that Brooklyn Audit had a good heart, had a good mind, had decent intentions in the beginning. And then he started letting this shit get to his head. He started listening to the wrong people, and they fucked him over, just like they did Chili. And I watched what they did to Chili. I warned him, and he did not listen. And now he is suffering all the consequences of it. And what happened to Chili, Brooklyn Audit, it's going to happen to you, because liars out here will always get caught up. You cannot accuse somebody of something that never happened, because you know how good I am. Every time I've ever made a comment, I've taken a screenshot of it. That's why I have 12 terabytes of fucking room on that new tower I bought, just for this reason. So when I go to being that troll that you're accusing me of, and I'm going to troll you over it because you lied. You're a liar. And you deserve to be trolled. So when the evidence piles up and more people start realizing it, they're going to have their feast days. And all I'm going to do is just press and release, press and release, press and release. One right after another. Boom. If anything, you'll see me being the problem solver. Boom. If anything, you'll see me doing the freaking all the videos to try to get you out of jail. If anything, you'll see me fighting for your rights. Trolling you? I don't know how that's trolling you, but I know that I fought for your rights. I know that I went to bat and made a lieutenant release you that night, and you don't even know it. You don't have a clue because I got the conversation. She promised me that she was going to release you because I took the time and showed her right where the problem started. And because it's not in the law, you guys are arresting people over policy. And every time it goes in front of a judge, she conceded that it would be dismissed. But it takes care of the problem. I have that. And that is called, what is that called, ladies and gentlemen? That's exculpatory evidence. I'm still willing to give that to you when you do your 1983, because the federal judge is going to want to hear the lieutenant precinct of the head of the detectives of the 79th precinct tell you that. Oh, yeah. Anyway, I'm moving on because I'm about the narrative. The people in it, they suck. It's the same thing with our system. This is why our system sucks, because we got bad apples that go bad. That don't mean you can't turn over a new leaf and concede, but you would have to apologize to do that. And I don't think you got it in you because you think you're measuring your penis by the size of your subscribers and your channel. And I'm telling you this right now, that channel will burn in hell before it means anything to me. Even this one. This is nothing. I know that Satan is the prince of the air, and this is all his shit. The same mind. I'm just using it as the tool that it is. Here we go, guys. And this is why this guy acts this way. Because he thinks he's on a power trip, and his people told him, hey, when this guy comes, you treat him like that. Treat him just like we treated Wolvie.
You're not the law, pal.
I am.
You are the law.
I am the law in here.
No, you're not, dude. The law is the law.
No,
We are a country governed by laws, not by persons.
Okay.
You are an absolute tyrant, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask.
Do you hear that? They're so argumentative in their code of conduct. He's admitting that he's a tyrant just to provoke you to wrath. That is called unbecoming of an officer.
Mm-hmm.
Let me
He admitted it.
You don't need to ask, man. Go read a law book and fire this guy. He just battered the public. Do you understand that?
In the building, you cannot film anything in a courtroom. You cannot stand in the hallway and point the camera into a courtroom. It is not allowed. That's by state statute.
Don't worry. I know the laws. I comply with the laws. This guy just battered me. Do you know what the statute is for battery? Unwanted, offensive physical contact. I just told him I don't consent to being touched, and he touched me.
When
So
I tell you to leave, you leave.
no.
You refuse a directive from law enforcement officials. So
Yeah, the only directives I have to follow are lawful directives.
That's not true. That's not true.
No, I have to do everything you say. So if you tell me to take my pants off so you can look at my dick, do I have to do that
It's
too?
just called reasonable. Okay, so if it's a reasonable request, you have to.
No, it's called lawful orders. And if it's not a lawful order, all right, yeah, no, you're dismissed. You misunderstand the law.
You comply with the rules, basically.
I have to comply with the law.
That's what.
Oh, hey, shut up, buddy. Go ahead and get back in your office.
Stop a minute. Hang on.
So this
Yeah.
1% time.
Shh. This guy's guy, he's got a big ego just like this guy.
You know, that lady gave the law according to the administrative rule. You're not allowed to record in the courtroom, nor can you point the camera to the courtroom. So basically what that's saying is you can record in there, you just can't record the courtroom without the judge's permission. Just like 8.115 says here in the state of Michigan. So this is what I would do, okay? To be lawful and to be legal. These are two different words that I'm using because they unlawfully legalize certain things. And it's bullshit. That's why we call it state sanctioned extortion. It's unlawful to extort, right? But they legalized it anyway. It doesn't mean it's lawful because it's against the Constitution. So when you use like words like lawful and legal, that is the difference between corporate law and constitutional law. Constitutional law is lawful. Legal is a corporate term.
Hang tight, I'll see if we can
You can let me in. I'm not breaking a
All
law.
right, well, just hang tight a minute, I'll be right back.
This is discrimination, is what this is.
Actually, what it is.
He is in error. See, a lot of people like to use discrimination as a word that pushes back on something that you're doing. No, it's not. What he's doing is he is committing a conspiracy and committing prior restraint. And he is, when he uses 241 to commit prior restraint, that is when he commits 242. Okay? Understand that. It's not discrimination. Discrimination is discriminating against your sex, religion, or ethnic background. Come on. If anybody knows discrimination, it's Wolvie. Because people discriminate against me all day long. They talk about my nub, they talk about my head, they talk about my cognitive issues. That is discrimination. Legally and lawfully, I just gave you the lawful and legal definition of discrimination. And people throw that word around like they think they know it. They don't. It's just simply, there's simply an error.
You're being disruptive and you're blocking.
Nobody's being disruptive.
The person that I see him being disrupted, this guy man is now gaslighting the cameraman. Because we all seen in the beginning, let's go back to the beginning where this guy comes out and does this.
Nah, man, I'm good. Don't worry.
Leave.
Whoa, don't touch me, buddy. What do you think you're going to do?
I'm gonna get your ass out of here. That's what I'm
You
gonna
gotta
do.
get my-
That right there was creating a disturbance. So when this butt lick sat there and told him that was okay, or was trying to blame it on him, when that butt lick tried to blame it on him and say that he was creating a disturbance, that's where they're covering up for each other, and that right there is conspiracy. That adds to the conspiracy.
Directives I have to follow are lawful directives.
That's not true.
No, I have to do everything you say. So if you tell me to take my pants off so you can look at my dick, do I have to do that too?
It's called reasoning. Okay, so if it's a reasonable request, you have to.
No, it's called lawful orders. And if it's not a lawful order, all right, yeah, no, you're dismissed. You misunderstand the law.
Comply with the rules, basically.
I have to comply with the law.
Dude, he didn't even get to the stairways. He didn't even get past security yet, guys. He didn't even get to the point where he put his stuff in there for them to properly give him legal access to the building. Because this guy right here committed committed 242 by committing battery against the cameraman for having a camera. That's what happened. Lawfully. You guys don't get this mixed up just because the cameraman knows a little something and he goes and does 1,000 audits a day. He's wrong on discrimination. Look it up for yourselves. I'm not going to do your homework for you. I'll give you something to do. Because that's not discrimination.
Okay.
It's a form of what runs concurrent with discrimination. It is a form of an attribute, a synonym maybe, that runs concurrent with it, but that's not the definition of discrimination, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, hey, shut up, buddy.
Now he looks at this guy and tells him to shush. So he's like, no.
Go ahead and get back in your office.
Just stop a minute. Hang on.
Yeah.
Did you hear her say guys, ladies and gentlemen? Did you hear her say guys? That is apostrophe S on the end of that. That's more than one, right? That's because court staff and people with badges, too much testosterone in there, and the estrogen said, hey, keep it down. A little bit too much testosterone going on here, that pissing contest.
Shh. This guy's guy, he's got a big ego just like this guy.
Hang tight, I'll see if we can
You can let me in. I'm not breaking a law.
All right, well, just hang tight to me. I'll be right back.
This is discrimination, is what this is.
Actually, what it is, it's, you're being disruptive and you're blocking.
Nobody's being disruptive, buddy. He came down here and touched me. I didn't consent to it.
I heard you upstairs being disruptive.
If he's touching me, I'm going to tell him to stop touching me. Do you get that? What if I come over and start grabbing you all over? Is that okay?
Go ahead.
You cool with that? Exactly. What's going to happen if I put what happens? What happens if I put my hands on you? Hey, de-escalate. De-escalate.
That's exactly.
Yeah, because you guys are violating my rights. I have a right to get into this building. All right, that's why I'm going to argue with everybody, because I've got a right to get into this building, and you guys are discriminating against me because I'm performing.
Actually, the cameraman should not be using the word argument. He should be using the word defend. See, I'm going to start pointing this stuff out, and I'm going to start applying this to my audits as well. Because there's plenty of annex buildings around me that I'm going to start hitting.
A First Amendment protected activity. So why don't you get your act together, read a law book before you go laying your hands on people, you clown. Look at you in that little clown costume. Oh, is that right? Yeah, the First Amendment, it doesn't apply in here. The freedom of speech, it stops at that door. What am I going to be held in? Contempt of cop?
You're okay to do whatever you want, just as long as it's reasonable.
Yeah, as long as it's lawful. As long as it's lawful. No, I am allowed to do whatever I want as long as it's lawful. Do you get that?
As long as you're reasonable.
No, because you get to interpret what you think is reasonable. That's why we have laws. Do you get that? So who interprets what you think is reasonable?
So you're the expert.
I know. I'm allowed to follow the law.
You're the expert. Maybe you should be sitting up on the bench there.
I should probably be there because you clowns don't follow the law, obviously. You're getting a lawsuit for battery. You should probably just walk away. You should probably invoke your right to remain silent and get the hell on out of here. Nobody wants you here. Hey, buddy. Name?
It's Luck. Last name's Luck. L-U-C-K.
L-U-C-K. Do you have an identifying number? Okay. What about you? Sorry? What's your last name? Can you spell that? A-L-W-I-N-E. Allwine. Okay. Okay, awesome. Are you a lawyer, sir? Up there in the suit? This lawyer can tell you what you did was illegal. No. Yeah. You guys checking that girl out? Checking that young lady out?
Checking out, so he's going to come down here and talk to you next.
Okay. Okay. It's fine.
Yeah, he caught her. He caught them boys marketing her.
Do you know what that means?
Well, actually, not marketing. Marketing is to size somebody up. It's usually used in a derogatory when men look at each other and size each other up before they start fighting. They were looking her up and down like she was a meat bone, like she was prime rib. That's what he's
where the law ends, there tyranny begins. Okay, what does it mean? Do you know?
Why is it that you are here trying to take control and be in charge?
I wasn't trying to take control of anybody. You're not in charge here, buddy.
No,
this is a government office. No, you don't.
I'm just giving you actually, Shiva, what is it? Saliba? I can't put the VA by it. I don't know what it is. It's not the language that I speak. I'm very sorry if I'm butchering your name. Shabba. I can't. I'm sorry, but reading what you just said, forgive me for butchering your name. Now it's, no, it's not an L, that's an I. Sheva. Okay, listen. You say you have a very interesting take in things, Wolverine. I think you think differently, and I learned from that perspective. Actually, you know, there's a 3-year degree that I have in this, all right, called a paralegal degree, and usually it only takes 18 months to get, but, you know, I was in the penitentiary when I got mine back in the 90s. So the perspective that I have is not just an attached to the opinions, it's the definitions of the words, these legal words that these people are using, right? Because operating standard procedure is nothing but corporate law. Directive policy is nothing but constitutional law. So when you put them together, you're going to get a different. That's why I said that you're going to get an unlawful legal diagnosis. You know what I'm saying? Because they made it legal. So when they took the 10th Amendment, listen to me close. When they took the 10th Amendment to rewrite the laws, they rewrote the laws that's supposed to run concurrent with the supreme law of the land, which is the constitutional law. So when they wrote their Michigan Vehicle Code laws in the state of Michigan, they said nobody's above it. And they wrote 603 that gives the police officer the exemptions they need to do their job without being held accountable for what they do. But it doesn't matter if the police officers are using that exemption or not. They don't give a damn. They're so used to getting away with it when they're not. Just like this officer, he's so used to being an officer and believes that he's a law enforcer. He becomes the law. I am the law. Remember when I pointed that out several weeks ago? You are not the law. You are a law enforcement officer. Don't forget that. I've been spreading this around and people's been freaking repeating the shit that I say because they know that Wolby's got it. If anything, Wolby's been an scapegoat out here for a long time. And they take stuff from me and then they go apply it to their own. And I'm telling you this right now, and it's okay because it's all learning. This is all learning behavior. It's learned behavior. We learn off each other. And that's exactly what I want people to do. So if you're lawfully going to look at something that is legal, make sure it's constitutional. Make sure the Constitution backs up the legal legality that you're bringing up, that you have your local councilmen and women voting on specific things. Make sure that it's constitutional. Make sure that it doesn't infringe upon your rights. That is why I say I'm talking about corporate law. I'm talking about what these people put into law as it would be like constitutional law, and it's not constitutional law, which is a bunch of mumbo fucking jumbo, guys. That's all it is. And I don't have no ego to this. See, a lot of people have egos when they debunk people. I don't have no ego. I might show a little pleasure of being right at the time and move on, but that's not because I'm like, ha ha, or up yours, you know, with some people. Only with badges. People with badges that continue to hurt people with, you know, with taking this pen that I have right here and then using a piece of paper called a citation. And I put that and I write in a narrative that runs against a certain penal code that I'm using in there. And if it's not true, you don't need to be under oath because that cop took the oath. So he's automatically under oath. And that's why when you look at MCL 257-744A, anytime they write something that is not true on any piece of paper, declaration, a directive, any memorandum, everything. They're under oath, especially when you're using the courts to say, this guy needs to be punished and he needs to be checked, and this is where we're going to do it, and this is why. Because this right here, what I put in the citation. That is why I speak the way I speak. Because people don't know, they don't know the difference.
I'm under citizen's arrest right now if I want to. What? How do you get more authority than me? Who died and did God bestow you upon it?
Listen to this pissing contest.
Common law.
The steward, which is the camera man, he's the steward, he's the taxpayer, is telling the public tool here, the servant, this public servant, what it is about natural law that he has. And this guy is about to talk about natural law. Listen to this.
Law. Okay.
Oh, I know. Do you know about the Constitution? Have you ever read that thing?
I am really sorry that.
Have you ever read the Constitution?
Something along the way happened in your past that you feel that
I have to exercise
Wow, more gaslighting.
my First Amendment right. You are. You're sitting here in the same clown costume as this guy is.
I would just recommend it to go live somewhere else where there's not as much freedom.
Where we have where they hold the other 75% of the world's prisoners. I say this because here in the United States, we house 24% of the world's total prisoners. This is the freest country in the world, supposedly, yet we have the highest concentration per capita of unfree people in the entire world.
Wow.
This is a great country.
This is where we have 24%.
Of course, that was a Google perception. Google's against the United States and it wants to bring it down. So I wouldn't. Most communist countries that he brought up on that, I would take that with a grain of salt because they don't report accurate numbers. We're so transparent, we do it.
Percent of the world's prisoners.
That's how we knew that the Democratic Party voted 100% against abolishing slavery. That's how we knew the Democratic Party voted against giving African American citizenship. That's how we knew that the Democrats voted 100% against giving them the right to vote. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's how we knew that. That's also how we knew Republicans voted against People with Disabilities Acts and shut them down. That's also how we knew that Mitch McConnell married a Chinese spy 15 years younger than him. Look, man, I read the Library of Congress and I get all the truth I want out of these imbeciles because they are so arrogant in what they do. They play stupid, and you guys don't give we as a country don't band together like we used to. You know that word band together? You remember mobs that would come with torches, and they used to do that. That wasn't just a KKK thing, okay? That was way before the KKK thing. Anytime they got mad, they assembled together, and they would have 15 or 20 armed people with torches, and they would go grab that politician, drag him outside to the front yard, and hang him in the fucking tree out in front when he was guilty of treason. They didn't have no trials back in the early 1800s. That's what they did. Believe me, Washington, D.C. had a lot of that going on. All you got to do is go read it. Go read the first insurrection. You'll read. You get most of you people don't even know what a real insurrection is. That was the January 6th was a bunch of pampered bitches, crying about spilled milk. They and broke a couple window and trespassed that day. That's all that was.
Don't take it for granted.
The bare minimum in inciting a riot or just creating a disturbance.
Don't take your job for granted.
Ukraine right now being bombed, right?
Okay, but I'm not. Okay, so I'm fighting for freedom here.
You are allowed in the building.
Holy shit. What'd she say? The voice of reason, which, of course, it had to be a great woman that had to tell the boys to shut the F up because they were having a penis measuring contest. And then she went up and read the rules and listened to what, just like it said on the door. I already know what it said because I'm very attentive. It says if you have a camera inside of a courtroom, you have to shut it off. I've seen that. That means you're allowed to have cameras up in there. You cannot record in a courtroom.
You are allowed in the building. We do have to just keep it quiet because there's court going on in session. So as long as you're not on any courts, down the hallway, you can do in the hallway is fine. Again, like I said, just don't videotape through a.
Don't, yeah,
okay.
don't, don't.
Videotape through a.
Don't, yeah.
In the building. We do have to just keep it quiet because there's.
Do you think this guy here just wanted to get YouTube famous? Because sometimes these tyrants in their unions, when they throw parties for each other, I believe what they do is they have a merit system. It's kind of like what gang members do. When they break that champagne open and they start pouring it on the ground. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll give somebody an ass whooping. You know what I'm saying? Them are rituals. They have the same rituals when they get screwed up and they throw parties for stuff like this right here. I swear they do. I know they do. Come on, he's a gang member. You know that's what they do. Gang members do that shit. Pretty soon he's going to have, hey, I'll bet you in the next year, this right arm of his, where's his gun? Is his gun? Yeah, his gun is on his left. Whatever his arm, I guarantee it. If there's not already, you'll have a tattoo on it.
We're going on in session, so as long as you're not on any courts, down the hallway, you can do in the hallway is fine. Again, like I said, just don't videotape through a.
Don't, yeah,
okay.
don't run with scissors. Don't do it. You know what I mean? Right. Everything that we shouldn't be doing.
Yes, like
Yep.
I said,
Get it.
As long as you just keep
Yep.
it quiet, only the public areas. Sure.
Do you want to apologize for laying your hands on me, or you're good off that?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fine.
So can we get a complaint form for him? Or
Yeah. Where do we get complaint forms?
You can talk to everybody.
Yeah, I'm a board administrator, so.
No, I just need it. You work with the sheriff's department, right? You're with the sheriff's department.
I would just call them.
So can we come to your
Okay.
office?
That's fine.
So basically, what this guy, all right, and what Chad is not understanding here is this guy. See, what we have here in the state of Michigan is called MCOL certification. Okay. Usually, there's one officer inside of a courtroom or facility that is an MCOL certification, and the rest of them are just securetards. All right, they're retired police officers that are allowed to carry guns for the rest of their lives. Okay, and that's all they are is as a person with the CPL. They are equivalent of a person with the CPL that is supposed to report and patrol and report. That's it. And the person with the MCOL certification in the state of Michigan is supposed to be the one to say, okay, I'm detaining you and now I'm going to arrest you, and then they can go hands on as long as he's there. But if he's nowhere in the building, and this guy, it's the same thing with this right here. If there's not a certified police officer around and he put his hands on him, being he's working for the sheriff's department. So you see that patch right there? It says the sheriff's department on there. Okay? He is acting as a deputy. All right? He's a retired deputy, and he's acting under that old oath that he is. So he is under the certification of whoever that is probably that supervisor that you were talking to. He's probably under his certification right now, which will get him in trouble later on,
So can we come to your office?
let alone him being fired. He should be fired.
That's fine.
All I would need is.
Awesome. All right. Let's run this through there because the zippers send things off.
After putting my phone through the scanner, I hear the officer behind me say something to the effect of, well, he's the one refusing orders, so I deal with it swiftly by saying,
I refuse because I don't have to, clown.
No, actually, see, if you let me come in here, you're home.
Yes, calling them the James guy is the one that could make us have to leave, so we
Nope, that's not true. The freedom of speech does not end at that door.
Well, I'm going to get your ass out of here, as he pushed him. So he committed battery, and if anything, he's still in defense mode. That is still self-defense. So I don't know what county he's from, but the state self-defense law would run concurrent with everything this man's saying. If this guy wanted to sit here and calmly say, you know what, I think you are a despicable, fat, round piece of shit that came up and freaking violated my rights, and nobody's going to do nothing about it because they're pieces of shit too, he would be well within his rights to do it as long as he said it calmly.
But the thing is, though, when you,
Yeah, I'm just going by the law. So
it's unreasonable to come in here to this building. and
are
start calling
you
people
feelings enforcement or law enforcement?
names. Did you hear what I said, though?
I don't care what you said, man. I just follow the law.
You got the directive from the boss here, and you're not complying.
This is a public area.
Oh, wait. You're not complying. The lady just got done telling you that he was allowed to do what he was doing. So if he wasn't stopped by one of your tyrants to begin with, this would have never have happened. You drew first blood. You guys got that unified uniform on, which makes everybody disrespect the freaking uniform. That is what I keep trying to tell police officers. Mr. Police Officer, if you're watching my live stream right now, I'm trying to tell you, when you are in that clown suit that people have desecrated, it's a unified piece of material that you guys share and have a commonality with. Somebody else in that same uniform just violated his rights. And he's sitting there gaslighting him, making him think that he did something wrong just by walking in the building when his supervisor, which is a county, remember what she is, an administrator of the building, is the boss. Even the judge, she's the one that signs his checks. See, you guys don't, these people don't know this. And I'm here to educate y'all. At least that's the way it is in the state of Michigan. I've had many altercations and settled them out with people that are very nice, that were calm, were talking to me calm, that say, hey, I come in peace. Like when I was in Novi and they were trying to make me do things that I didn't want to do, and when I was trying to enter the building, they were holding Broken hostage because of speech. And it was during that time where they shut everything down and they were trying to make people wear the muzzles. And this state just got done taking the authority away from the person who had the authority, which was the governor at the time. They said every 28 days, you have to come back and you have to ask the people if you can keep that executive order going. She decided not to do that and say the hell with the people, like this guy right here. He's not recognizing that we, the people, the administrator that we put in place that speaks for us, that follows the administrative orders. Okay, these are administrative orders written into law, like 8.115 is. There is an administrative order that is giving in law for these guys to follow that standard. So when he first comes into the building, he gets stopped and says, I'm going to take your ass, ASS. He starts cussing. He uses profanity. And this guy calls him a clown and gets checked for it. Okay. whatever. You threaten violence, and all we do is record it. Keep acting the morons. Keep earing in the hate. I'm gonna play the rest.
Not a contractual owner of the building. Yep, I'm under control.
Oh, now she's starting to gaslight him. Ain't that a bitch?
He called me back over here to have another altercation. Not interested, man. I'm just going to go conduct my business. What would you rather call him? What would you want me to call him? Officer? He's talking about me, so I think I'm going to talk about him. If he's coming over saying, well, he was asked to leave, so yes, this is a public building. Hate to break it to you guys work for the public. You don't enforce your feelings. Don't worry, I was going to do it before I was called over there. That was insane, man. These people are disgrace. They are a disgrace.
And they're not
Hey, is this where we get public records requests here? Yeah, can I get a public records request, please? All right. What do we got going on around here?
Are you kidding me?
Is someone trying to play a joke on you? Okay.
For those of you that don't get what just happened, is the boss of the building, which is the boss of everybody, including the judge, which is the administrator. It's called the court administrator of that building. Come out and spoke what the AO was, called the administrative order. Right? Said that they can record. And the reason why that girl says, "Are you kidding me?" Let's go back and look at that for a second. Right? "Are you kidding me?" is because they think they're still our boss, and they still think that they are in some type of super vile. They have this superpower that can say, "What are you doing, and why haven't you been thrown out on your teeth yet?" Right? Listen to her.
Are you kidding me?
Is someone trying to play it?
She's looking at the administrator saying that to her boss. Listen to what she's saying to her boss. She looks at her boss and says that.
Kidding me?
Is someone trying to play it?
All right. So I'm just showing this so you guys can understand what's happening behind the scenes, because you can't see over there to the left. And she's looking straight at the boss, and the boss is like, "Do your job." So she turns around and grabs the paperwork.
A joke on you?
Yeah. She has been rebuked on the DL, and she did it to herself because she took her boss for granted by saying, "Are you kidding me?"
Okay. Aren't with the sheriff's office, are you? Not with the sheriff's. Okay. What is that badge? Monroe Circuit Court. Okay, so I don't think he is with the sheriff's department. He is employed by the courthouse. Man, I'm not with anybody right now, brother. You seeing people?
I see dead people.
I don't.
Apparently, we're not going to have a reasonable conversation.
You are all about reasonable, but I'll tell you, I'm all about lawful. I just wanted to whip you into shape right there, bud. This is a lawful encounter that we're keeping here. So everybody just maintain lawfulness. We'll be fine.
How can we help you today?
I actually don't need any help, man. I'm just doing a little investigation, so I'm just documenting the office right now. Yep. Appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely.
All right. All right, brother. I'm about done, dude. I just wanted to make sure, just ask, did you learn anything today?
Not anything today.
Good one, Broken.
It's cold outside. I know the weather's not very good.
People have to follow the
I'm not sure what you're talking
law, right?
about.
You got to follow the law.
I don't think anybody is not following any laws.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure it was clear that we
The
don't.
only people.
You know, this guy is trying to show some rationality here. I believe this is what he's doing, right? So how do you try to show rationality when you continue to gaslight the person you talk to and make him believe that he created a disturbance when it was one of the people under him that came, shoved him, and says, I'm the law and I'm going to kick your ass out of this building. That's disrespectful. And I have a better word for all of these morons. It's called something very, very simple. I want you to look at me when I say it. Disdain, you moron. Man.
But I know what you guys are doing. I just didn't fall off the turnip truck today.
Okay.
Well, if you know what we're doing, then why couldn't you just shut your big pig mouth and follow your administrative order like it says? You are only there to observe and report, and then if you see me breaking the law and if you have the certifications to arrest and put your hands on somebody and detain them, take care of your business. Until then, shut the fuck up and move out of my way.
You can go through, ma'am. Sorry.
You have the right to do as far as being reasonable. Or I was trying to address it for your next encounter, next time you try to do this. When you do get approached by somebody
And touched.
but
Right.
they gave you verbal direction first.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. All right, here, let's debunk him right here. We're at 12:58. Let's go all the way back. Let's look at that again. Was this verbal or was this physical, ladies and gentlemen?
Nah, man, I'm good. Don't worry.
Leave.
He just said, "How can I help you?" He said, "No, I'm good." And he said, "Well, leave," and then puts his hands on him.
Nah, man, I'm good. Don't worry.
Leave.
All right, right there. If you are giving somebody an order, let's pretend let's play the game. All right, with what that moron's trying to say. Aren't you supposed to give the guy a chance to do? You gotta like my dog. When I tell him to sit, he's a 140-pound dog. He's got a big ass tail mounted to his asshole. All right, so he can't just sit down without hurting himself because he's big. He's got a big set of balls. You know what I'm saying? It's shit's uncomfortable. You got to give them a chance to obey. It takes me, at least sometimes it takes my dog 4 or 5 seconds to put himself in a position to sit and obey his master. Okay? It's the same thing with us sometimes. We got to be, hold on. We got to make sure everything's comfortable. Wait a minute, I got to be comfortable with what you just said. Yeah, there's got to be a back and forth, and this is what happens before that back and forth. He does not give that back and forth a chance.
Whoa, don't touch
And pushed him immediately.
me, buddy.
Now, that is not reasonable, and for him to sit there and say that it is, you are a disgrace to your badge.
Law, right? You got to follow the law.
I don't think anybody is not following any laws.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure it was clear that we
The
don't.
only people that I know what you guys are doing. I just didn't fall off the turnip truck today.
Yeah, he did.
You can go through, ma'am. Sorry.
You have the right to do as far as
He fell off the cabbage truck for real, because he seems like a cabbage head to me. What do y'all think?
to address it for your next encounter, next time you try to do this. When you do get approached by somebody,
And touched.
but
Right.
they gave you verbal directive first. I wasn't here, but I'm assuming he gave you a verbal directive.
Yeah, he gave me a
Okay.
verbal
So
directive.
then if you don't fail to comply with that verbal directive in the next course of action.
You guys think I should email this guy my directive with my degree attached to it to show him that I got more training than he does sitting on my ass than he'll ever have in a physical training output? Because what he's saying right now is garbage. It's burnt. It smells like burnt cabbage to me.
Enforcement continues to soft approach, okay, which he did follow the order. you refuse to follow his directive. So in all reasonableness, he has to.
Take your pants off.
He has to. It's not reasonable.
Listen here. I'm telling you, as your boss, to unzip. That is as rational as that sounds. What this clown is saying is the equivalence, Broken, of me telling him to unzip. And you know what I mean, Broken, don't you? Broken knows. When Wolvie says unzip, do I mean what I'm saying, Broken? Come on, tell him. Tell him, Broken. I had to break Broken in, man, and he was the pole holder. You know what I'm saying? When I unzip, he had to hold the pole. Excuse me, man. I'm sorry, man. Let's see. Don't be discouraged. Hateful people aren't here to learn. Yeah, exactly. See, for some reason, when people come against what we're doing, it is a bias that is usually that is politically motivated, ladies and gentlemen. And I say that from experience because we've all been brainwashed before. Look, I was on the left for many years. All right, I was a local 243 Teamster. What do you think? That's why I'm able to look at leftists and how they act, because that used to be me 25 years ago when I was a local 243 Teamster, working my balls off. All right. So, and that's all I knew was Teamsters back then. And they were, it was all political motivated. Me and mines, man, that's all I give a damn about. Seeing 20. I'm taking my yin in 20 later. Wouldn't give a damn. That's just how we were taught. And that's what he's doing, This tyrannical behavior is just it's learned behavior, and it's not going to change until this cameraman literally puts that complaint in.
It's not a reasonable request.
Well, it's reasonable to me.
You don't know who you guys are. You could be terrorists. You could be here for some.
Oh my God! Here we go with the color coordinated threats and see, that's a lot of racism right there. I live just a couple miles from the largest freaking Arab community in the United States, and for them to sit there and say that type of bullshit is so effing racist. It's unreal. These people are good people. They're law-abiding, most of them. I mean, that we got our clowns in every freaking ethnic background. Okay, people are going to break the law. People are going to be punished by the law. It is what it is. That's why the law's there. They're there to correct it. But you're not there to freaking continue to stereotype people. Yeah, 9/11, blah 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 blah. Yeah, that was George W. Bush that paid off the bin Ladens, okay, and they finally broke the contract, and they're no longer backing us no more because we used and abused them for so long that they went to the bigger abuser and said, you know what, we like their power better than theirs because at least these people are real and they have nothing to hide about their tyranny. They know they're tyrants. That's true.
Of the United States.
But not every single person who walks in this building comes in with video cameras, and so it is unusual. It's unusual. So it's an unusual circumstance. So if it's unusual, then we would react as a normal human being, reasonable, to maybe question why you're here. Okay. So,
all right, as a normal human being, the AO, which is the administrative order, has already went over that probably in the early 1900s, maybe the latest 1954. Okay, so because the press was a big deal back then, because you had a lot of gangsters that would always go to court and were always being held accountable. Trust me. There was a line of them.
Nothing that was done that was inappropriate or unacceptable, except for you guys could have said, hey, we're just here because we want to walk around and do stuff. And then maybe it would have been okay.
Why the hell would I even tell you that? The only thing you're trying to do is ascertain, all right, whether or not by what I have on me, if I'm going to be a threat. You're there to make sure that I have no freaking weapons on me, make sure that I'm not going to hurt nobody, and observe and report. And if you feel like you have to follow me and be a babysitter, then do it. But it would be better for you just to go off, because in this day and age, we are training you not to be racist, not to give us color coordinated freaking directives, and keep reminding of us of them terrible days where our government was involved in a government conspiracy to take out the world organization that we known as Caucasian power over the money that held the power in the world. That's all that was. So when they destroyed that building, they got two things. They stole all the gold out of it, and they killed the people that were in power. That's it. When it came to the authority and monies.
But again, maybe if you would have just paused momentarily and said that's what we're going to do.
Well, you'll probably. I know, yeah.
Pause. How can you pause when you're being pushed? I keep going back to the beginning of this, man. I mean, look at it. Look.
Don't worry. Whoa! Don't touch me, buddy.
I mean, that happened all in 3 seconds. This guy's full of shit, man. He's full of shit.
Everybody just maintain lawfulness. We'll be fine.
How can we help you today?
I actually don't need any help, man. I'm just doing a little investigation, so I'm just documenting the office. So, me telling you to do something that I deem reasonable, and you telling me to do something, but I didn't come up and tell you, you better get out of here because you didn't do what I deemed reasonable.
You guys have a good day, okay?
That's what I thought. PTFO, sucker.
All right, buddy.
That means push the fuck on.
One last question, if like Channel 8 or Channel 13 came in as a news crew, you should do the same thing?
They told me they don't let anybody in with cameras.
Well, no, and we get that, but like, okay, I guess the final question is, if we do a revisit, we won't have that problem again. If we do a revisit at some point in time, we won't have that problem again.
Okay. All right, guys. You have a good day. Right. Hey, man. We understand that, brother. All right, bro. Hey, have a good one, all right?
So, another fine example of your taxpaying dollars being put to work and being misused, being mistreated, and most of all, being abused with somebody's feelings and not facts. And it's sad that a woman that had to come out of her official capacity, because these people are already in their initial capacity, being there with their clown suits, okay? Observe and report. The AO says they know it. If you go back, let me show you what's on the door. Let's look on the door real quick, okay? Look on the door right there, okay? Right about here. Let's see if we can get a clear look at that. Justice Center. Electronic devices must be turned off while in the courtroom. If not, you may be held in contempt and any other device taken. Do you hear that? There's your permissive right there. That was the permissive. Holy shit! It just disappeared on me. I'm sorry. I didn't show you guys that because I figured, maybe somebody would have. I'm sorry. I'm screwing up, guys. Look, let's look at that again. There we go. Let me share this and bring that back up. See that? Electronic devices must be turned off while in the courtroom. If not, comma, you may be held in contempt and your device taken. That is as clear as peanut butter. Excuse me, that's as clear as clear water wine. You know that clear water wine we used to use? You guys don't know about that. I ain't gonna talk about it right now. But look, here's what I'm saying. It doesn't take a GED to figure that out. That is a paragraph right there. But what, 15 words? And turned off while in the courtroom. You know what the operative word in that is? In that whole paragraph? IN right here. In the courtroom. That's what it was. IN. In the courtroom, because that's where the directive lied. Inside the courtroom. So I hope you guys are learning. I hope people clearly understand what you're seeing is not normal for the AO and back in the gangster days when they had Babyface, um, Nelson, they had John Dillinger, they had all these different Bonnie and Clyde, uh, all these different gangsters where they were a notorious #1 gangsters and they were wanted. And the press would always be inside those courtrooms watching them come in and out. They didn't care about the cameras then. They didn't give a shit because it showed their authority. It emasculated police officers. It made them big and tough because now we have the notorious gangster in our custody and we're going to execute his punk ass or we're going to hold him accountable. Okay? Those are when those administrative orders were doubled down on. Okay? Because they would be inside the courtroom or courthouse, but they couldn't be in the courtroom because it would disturb the court because there would be grandstanding. Trust me, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that played out when they did allow them, and the cameras came in there, the press was showing them, and the gangsters would stand up and say, "Hey, fuck the police," right? They would do shit like that. I'm sure somewhere they got something where they said, "No, we can't have him doing that because it shows that he's defying our authority." And then they gag him and they put him in another room and they violate his rights even more. But the fact of the matter is that they went through all that. And that is where those orders were made. You're allowed to have a camera outside the courtroom with permission. You're allowed to have it inside the courtroom. And there's designated areas like in 8.115, it specifically tells you that if you do get permission granted to record inside of a courtroom, you record within a certain area to where it's not going to, you can't record jurors, you can't record victims, you can't record certain people that are tied to this case in any way. All right, guys, we'll be set enough. I'm going to read the rest of the chat. America is the most enslaved country in the world. I wouldn't say that, man. I think we're being a little. I think we're being a little zealous because we are seeing numbers. You got to remember something right now. The right and the left are using talking points to get you to hate your country, and you're falling for it. Do you honestly think that China has the amount of the Arab Muslims and white Muslims and black Muslims numbered and tagged in those concentration camps for us to see how many they have? That right there debunks that idea inside people's head. We are not the worst. But because it's happening right before our eyes and we have the authority to do something with it, maybe we can equivalate that with that and say, you know what, what's the difference? You see what I'm saying? But don't hate your country just because people are using racist tactics and racist stats to get you to hate your country. Don't hate your country, man. Don't hate the police. Dislike them. Don't look at the uniform. This is my opinion to you. Don't look at the uniform and judge it by everybody. Even though it's hard and they're earning the hate, you'll hear me say it every day. Every time I'm out there recording the morons, when they act moronic, like those guys in Taylor, when they act moronic and they run their mouth against me, you know what I mean? And I'm like, or they'll play games on the radio. You know, I mean, it might be funny, but honestly, do you know what you're making your system look like? And if that's the way you view your country, and if that's the way you want to be seen, your fate is not going to be what you think it is. You're going to have a terrible fate because you're on the wrong side of history. People that thought the same way you did literally took their own lives because they knew they were being hunted by people that said enough's enough, and they drew a line in the sand. Hell, even Christ drew a line in the sand when they were talking about the law of Moses. Isn't it true that since you have read the law and you're so sanctimoniously this Messiah that is full of truth and power, so here we have a whore. Isn't it true in the law of Moses that we stone the whore? And Jesus knew that what they were doing. Jesus knew that they were trying to tie the words of accountability and twist what God has ordained to use as a deterrent, as you know what, to stop people from tearing up their families and making bad choices. It was used as a deterrent, you know. And they threw that woman down in front of Christ and says, the law said it, and you follow the law, you went into the law library and you read it. Now, shouldn't we stone her according to what you're saying? So Jesus, he drew a line in the sand and he grabbed a big handful. Whether or not you believe that he was God, he exists, right? Whether you agree that this is a spiritual thing or not, this really happened in history because it's in every history book in the world. He grabbed a handful of sand after he drew the line in the sand. He grabbed a handful of it and then threw it on there. That line, and then he wrote over something. I don't know. I think it was symbolic for God and what he was trying to, and what was being accomplished in the spirit world at the time. Something a lot of people don't want to talk about because they're not into it. But understanding the time it was said, who said it, and who it was referred to, you'd have to look at what he got accomplished at that. So he looked back at the hypocrites and he says, okay. He picks up a stone and he hands it to the person that brought him and says, here, those without sin cast the first stone. Do you know why he walked up to the guy and handed that specific guy a stone? Because that's the same guy that slept with her last night and the night before that and every Saturday before that. You understand what I'm saying to you? They created the whore she was. So everybody that had stones in their hands, that had slept with her, had followed suit because this guy's like, oh shit, he knows. So he dropped the stone and walked away, and they all followed suit and they all walked away. See, Christ was a genius with this because he turned their laws against them. He let their conscience be their guide, and that's how you get people. This is what I'm trying to do with you people when I speak to you. I'm trying to get to your hearts and minds and know that none of us are above sin. Every one of us make mistakes. I don't care who you are. You're making mistakes. I don't care if you're from the shit house to the White House. You are not perfect. You're not going to be perfect. You're never going to be perfect. No matter what you think, no matter how many laws you write, no matter how many executive orders. Do you know that Joe Biden wrote an executive order? And I'm not trying to get political. What I'm trying to say is that those people that has busted their asses to get a credit score and have, you said you've been a slave to the system. Okay. This guy has worked really hard. This male or female has worked so hard to get a credit score of like 750 or 650. If you go over 640, you got to pay on a mortgage because you're over that. You now got to pay a penalty fee for people, and they're taking that money and they're giving it to less fortunate people. Why do I have to be responsible for you? I've done a fixed income too. Who made that person Joe Biden king over my money? I don't care if I got a whole box full of it. It's not yours. It belongs to me. 9/10 of the law, babe. Until somebody comes and steals it. Anyway, that's what they do. So they're penalizing and incentivizing people that, heck, I don't have to pay my bills no more. I can drop below this and still get what I want later on. They're incentivizing you to do that. Anybody with a credit score below 740, it incentivizes you to stay there. Say to hell with it. I don't have to work hard. Or 640, I'm sorry, 640. Tell me that ain't crazy. What? Because you're telling me that just because you work at Taco Bell or one of these Fortune 500s that you can't save money, that it's not possible for you to discipline yourself. It's not possible for you to um, plan things out and save your nickels, because I do it all the time. I save my nickels to get this stuff. I worked hard to my credit score was a mess all the way up until my early 40s. It was a mess. It wasn't worth crap. And then I started working hard to get it back up, and I got it where I want it. And now they're trying to tell me that if I want to take a mortgage out on something, if I want to buy a home, and because my shit's over 650, you're going to penalize me a percentage where you're going to raise my mortgage up several points because I have a good credit score. Yeah, you're right. It's a slave system, all right, but not the way you guys are thinking. It incentivizes negative and destructive and self-destructive behavior. And that's not who we are. Love your country, love yourself. Be honest with yourself. You could be comfortable. You don't have to covenant everything everybody has. Just because you see a brother out there with a bunch of gold chains and driving this fresh car, does that mean that you have to have that? You can dream all you want. I dream too. But at what price are you going to get it? Are you going to sell your soul for that? Are you going to sell your dignity for that? You're going to say because people, the systemic system where this guy that looked Armenian violated the rights of a white cameraman, because that's what we just watched. We're going to blame it on a systemic racist system, which they want to continue to get you to go into identity politics. See, that's where the left comes in. You need to look at it for what it is. Right and wrong is very simple. It's here in the heart. Don't think about it right here. Think about it right here. And you have to put yourself in every situation. What if that was me? Do I care about right and wrong? Do I have integrity? Do I think that I'm going to answer for every word, everything I've ever said in my whole life in front of a God one day. I believe that with all my heart. I'm not saying you have to believe that, but I believe that. And those of you that do believe, you got to understand everything that we say and do is going to be judged. That's why it tells you, judge not, lest you be judged. Don't look at other people and judge them. If anything, say a prayer for them and give them some advice. You want somebody to follow your lead? I'll tell you what, clean your backyard and you show them how to clean theirs. You see how clean mine is? This is how I did it. Here, you want to borrow my tool? All right, guys. Y'all have a good Sunday, man. God bless. Be good to yourselves. Treat each other with respect. And for all that is good, and here is something for the community coming straight from Wolvie. This is what Wolvie says to you. Okay? I'm just going to put it to you like this, man. Let me read the rest of the chat here. So I see a lot of people agreeing. I see a lot of people in there laughing. I must have been funny when I was. I'm a little behind. I'm sorry. And of course, she got broken in there being, having a good sense of humor the way he does. Yeah. Okay, good enough. And another thing, mods, I want you to start checking the channels of some of these people that are coming in here. If you're a mod in this channel, I want to know that we are talking to the real people, because there have been a lot of people that are going in under my name. I've watched people going in and broken shit last night, and they went under CAR, freaking media's my name, and they were doxing us and all that. So start checking these people out. And making sure that these people are who they say they are, because you know their channels. And if you haven't hit that like button, I'd appreciate if you hit that like button. I will keep this one up. And I'm just looking at everybody here. I'm trying to get everybody a voice on here, because most of these it doesn't record for some reason. I don't know why it's not showing the channel chat when we go back and look at it. I have to figure out where it's at in there. Blocking people and censorship is very anti First Amendment and it is. But you have to understand something too. Not to say that I agree with people that are just blocking them because they don't like them and all that other stuff, or they don't want to hear what they have to say. Listen, if I got a guy that comes in and says, Adam, you're full of shit every day, You know, I'm going to have a bad day one day. I'm going to look at that and probably block his ass, you know, because he's a hindrance to me, you know, and he it's just, you know, I'm a human being that's going to respond, but I usually don't, right? But I'm going to remind you of something, and you of all people should know this, Sean. You know that little thing that contract that you signed with YouTube? Yes or no? Do you know it? Well, I'm assuming that you do because everybody did. Everybody, the only way that you can comment in these is if you agree to that. You agreed that you are on a private platform that is accessible to the public. This is not a public format. You're in my living room. Right now. You're in my master bedroom, and you're coming in YouTube. That's restreaming me from their platform, from my master bedroom. So you have two points of dictatorship there. Okay. Not that I'm a dictator, but I'll be damned if I'm going to let you sit there and dog and disrespect everybody in my chat. That's what mods are for, is to keep the chat clean. To give you free speech to attack me, you can attack me. Why don't you stick, if you're sticking straight to the words and the narrative, if you're attacking the narrative, that's fine. If you have an opinion that is based upon a initial fact that uses words that articulates a response that is most likely to be more likely than not likely, then what the hell would anybody want to take that away from you for? Because people are known to be in error, just like I used when Chad, whatever his name is, that runs that that channel we just looked at, right? Chad and TY, I think it what is. Uh, you know, he used the word discrimination. He's not using it right because that's not what discrimination is. That would be a fact. That would be something to check. That would be not to make fun of, not to call him a moron, not to, you don't got to call people out, but that is something to troll. You could stir the pot a little bit on that, saying, "Hey, you're in error. You don't know what you're talking about. This is what this means, not that." That's a totally different thing. You don't block people for telling the truth. You block you time them out when they're acting moronic and they're acting childish, like we're in high school. Because most of my people that watch me are from like 20 to I think 65 is my range. Okay, so all y'all adults, ain't no kids up in here, and if you are, this ain't for kids. And I said it was not for kids in my outline. So you know when people, you know, you know what else? And here's another word. And if he proves that you are and you block him, that's censorship. Yeah, it is. But when you want to talk about the double standard, Sean, there are big double standards out here that you could be calling out than these little surface ones. And I challenge all of you that's in here right now. I challenge you to look at what's really going on in this First Amendment community, they call it, and see if they're really about the movement more than they are the clicks and views. I'm not hating on nobody. You can get paid all you want. But if you're willing to throw the baby out with the bathwater and you do an investigative, I can give you all the answers you want. You email me and you want to do a story? You want to see hypocritical shit? Dr. Dave, you want some hypocritical shit? You want to be legit in what you're saying instead of attacking people that you think that are attacking police officers? Why don't you look at who they are and the words that they use to describe what right and wrong is, and watch what they do to people that they think that are weak, people that they. I mean, I cannot believe two people on this planet would ever turn their back on Wolvie when I got them out of jail and helping them get out of jail, redressing the police officers to do so. And you sit there, I got conversations on it. And for you to sit there and put me down and try and accuse me of things that is not true, you have no receipts on. You want a story? I'll give you a story. See how that works, Brooklyn? This can go really bad for you. And if I was you, I'd clean this shit up real quick because you started it. And the people who paid you to take my fucking wrench, give that money back to them and show that shit. Show that receipt. Say, fuck you. You can take this money back. I'm sending it back. Shove it up your ass. And that right there will be the apology. You won't have to apologize to me. That'll be good enough. Until then, guys, you guys have a great day and God bless. And know who you're messing with out here because you really don't know. Good day, y'all. Love you. See ya.